straightforward. So when a person is straightforward, it says of a person, they're honest and frank. And then the synonyms would be honest, frank, candid, open, truthful, sincere. And I don't know what could be more attractive than somebody who's open and honest with you.
Straightforward with Strip.
Yo, what's going on? It's your man, Young Strip, right here on Straightforward with Strip, courtesy of GFN Radio and Mighty Media TV. But check it out, man. Let's get straight down to it. You feel me? Gotta keep it straightforward. We're in the building with Miss Shenita Cleveland.
What's happening? What's happening, everybody?
Yo.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm sorry I was late.
Oh, no, it's no problem. It's no problem. You're a little fashionably late, but it's cool because you are an icon, I would say.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I received love.
Yeah, you are a woman of many hats, and I'm sure you can explain it a little better than I can, but what are your titles? What do you go by?
It's so funny. I was just talking to Smash about this morning. He said, you may not want to be an activist. They label us activists only because they turn their back on activists. Like when sort of like football players, when they're done with the game, they sort of turn their backs on them and they have a lot of trauma. So, so they call me activist. They call me community leader. They call me Miss Shenita. They call me, but I am the child of James Sugarman Russell and Lucille Hector.
All right. And I have, heard you, mention things about that story before,
My dad?
Yeah. Like your father, he has a story about him and everything. So
and actually a transcript, the evidence against the death penalty here in Texas.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he did 14 years. And when he was first being processed in Huntsville, they burned his body. They used to spray them with insecticide like they're cleaning the black man in the state prison. And we know that there's a lot of corruption in all of the industries because technically we're inside of a bad tree that you can't get good fruit from. So we just need to deal with the root. We need to go straight to it. Houston, well, it's technically Sugar Land, but there was a Radio Shack. There's a few of them now, but back then it was big time. And so in the 70s. And so my father, basically we're Church of Christ on my dad's side. They were Church of Christ pastors, so no music. But my father played the guitar. So he wanted to be in the band, but my grandfather said, no, we're Church of Christ. There's no music. You're going to hell if you play instruments. Church of Christ believes that there's no music. When I don't know why they think that.
Don't add or take away from the Bible. No, I was baptized in the Church of Christ, and it's for real. Like they said, you're not supposed to add or take away from the Bible, and their reasoning was that they said in the Bible they don't mention anything about instruments when singing praises to the Lord.
What about David dancing? So what was he dancing to? The air? The beat of his own drum in his head? I mean, come on.
Maybe because some of the songs, the acapella still goes hard.
No, absolutely. And hey, listen to me. I believe, me personally, when people say, what's the answer to world peace? We don't have peace. But the answer to world peace is music, through music, because it is universal. I've seen Mexicans in the caves in Mexico dancing to Mo3. So it reaches everywhere, the frequency. And so we need the frequencies like straightforward with Strip to keep it straight to the point. Let us heal the land. Let us heal the people. And let's do the right thing.
Nice. And now, speaking of doing the right thing and healing the land, these mass shootings and school shootings. I was just asked recently, what are my thoughts on mass shootings? And I basically said, to keep it straightforward, there's a common denominator with all these mass shootings and school shootings, or the majority of them, for those, sticklers and naysayers and justifiers. It's angry white boys who aren't getting, looked at or put under the microscope as they should.
As they should.
There have been a lot of these shooters who have said what they were going to do and planned out what they were going to do on Facebook. And I was telling a friend of mine, like, yo, like, me and my homeboys would be joking. I'd be like, bro, I'll slap you in the face. And Facebook going to block me. But these white people are getting... but these white people are saying, I'm going to kill my grandma. I want to walk into a school and do some shooting. And people are just like letting it go by, and I feel like that has a lot to do with, the racial thing. So when it comes to healing this land, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think we need to go to the people that created the division, which is the United States government and all of its leaders. You talked about those white guys, those shooters, but there are actual shooters in the police department that are high-level shooters that do not give a damn about... His family, like, I won't use profanity. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? And so you have high-level shooters, even the shooters that are shooting these bills in Washington, your way to criminalize you. And this is a major problem in that people are not awake. They say they're awake, like we woke. But you cannot be woke if you just only go vote for a president. But not only that, what are they giving you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not just about voting. So if somebody tell you, get registered, go vote, why? Tell me why. Tell me what has Joe done for my people when on election day it was Chucks and Pearls.
Yeah.
I personally now am boycotting the Democratic Party, and I would like to meet with Ice Cube. So hopefully if you have a connection, let me know. Because we need that voter block.
Ice Cube. Trying to link up with Shenita Cleveland. You
I'm
got to
the
make
one.
that happen. Yeah, and speaking of, Uncle Joe, that's another problem I have, with healing our land, healing our community. We give way too many people passes to the barbecue. What is the basis of that? Why are we that people?
Slavery.
Yeah.
Still here.
Like we're so inviting, so welcoming.
Alive and well, because we got beat down to where you better be nice.
Yeah.
Black man,
Yeah.
black woman, or you're going
So-
to get beat and you're going to get hung and you're going to get killed and you're going to get chopped up, you're going to get harassed, you're going to get all those things if you don't do what I say. So that's why in the older generations, I was told, I'm 50, y'all. I will be 50 in November. Yes, I know I look so beautiful. Only because
Nice.
Yeah, only because it's that time now.
Yeah.
When I say the revolution, we have groups, that say that they're in the revolution, but you have to be very smart because you don't have enough firepower. Okay, the United States government will shoot you dead if you try to uprise. Now, unless you're coming out in millions and droves like you see in Pakistan and Iraq and Africa. Now, I was actually I know I'm going on, but I was actually
good.
Now, I've got some protests. My hat says, Major Look. This is like from President Trump era, which he is coming back. And you know what? It's all about who's going to give us the most.
Yeah.
That's who's going to get my vote. So if you ain't talking my language, you ain't going to get my vote.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we have too many people still on the bottom today, and they're black people. The Hispanic community, if you look at the wealth, if you actually just look at the numbers, we're just saying the gap, they're like this and we're like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there are many, many factors to that. And I do understand a lot of them. I don't know all of them. But that's why people like you are now in my life. And it's quick story, my very first interview in politics, Strip was there. And I was sweating. I was so scared. I was stuttering. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I didn't know how to answer the question.
Tell him.
But he was definitely there for me. He helped break me in. And now that I'm a product of Straightforward from Strip. So, you know what I'm saying? So check in, always hit share, and make sure that you subscribe to what he is saying and get to the point.
Listen to this lady, yo. It's Straightforward Strip on GFN Radio and Mighty Media TV. We're with Miss Shenita Cleveland, and we're getting down straight to the facts. Mass shootings, the issues. You said you're boycotting the Democratic Party.
Well, listen, remember 9/11? Do you remember when 9/11 was happening?
Yeah.
Multiple things kept
I was
happening.
in the 6th grade.
Yeah, but you saw multiple stories, same thing, like that. Why? Because of guns. It boils down to guns. But you have to also stay awake and also understand that these things emanated from the spirit into the physical realm. So you have to make sure that it is of the light. Because things look like the light. What do? These politicians, they tell you, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you free community college. I'm going to give you this. And 2 years later, and you ain't got that.
Like we're steady falling for the same promises over and over. It doesn't matter what party it is. So just like you were saying, we're so quick to just go and vote for the president, but we're not doing anything like within the community. We're complaining.
We are complaining.
Yeah.
But there are some people. Let me just say that we're not. Is my mic off? I don't hear myself anymore. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Testing. Can you hear me now? United States government? But technically, again, even though we blame others externally, but we must start inside first, because everything emanates from the heart based on what you see, what you've experienced, the trauma. If you hate black men, if you hate white men, if you hate each other, and it all started in your own heart, and then you have multiple people with that same type of heart. It's why you have this bad behavior that we're seeing nowadays. But black people need to take responsibility for their own actions and stop shooting each other, because they are doing it because one, they're in these gangs who ain't gonna give you commissary, because commissary is very necessary, but they're not gonna give it to you.
And it's wild that you brought up, us killing each other, because I heard something on the TV before I headed this way, and I had to write it down, yo. So they said so far this year in 2022, it's been 105 shooting deaths in Dallas. And
but the chief Garcia says crime is down in the. Why? Because of that deception. That's still lack of accountability to be transparent. Like there are grids, y'all. There is actual grid a program that's about to roll out. And if you got a police tower, trust me, you're in the grid in Dallas, Texas.
What is this grid?
Yeah. Like when you for high crime areas.
Yeah.
So they're gonna start pushing all of these police out.
Yeah.
So Garcia is not gonna call DPS only if he needs them.
And I'm glad that you said that, because I was having an argument like that, similar to that, with somebody on social media, and they were saying, because I was saying something about the police presence in more urban black neighborhoods, and he said, well, that's because they're high crime areas. And I'm like, no, bro,
why?
They're making them high crime areas.
And
like,
why? Yeah.
I noticed,
Making
I stay in a certain part of Arlington, and I notice way more cops patrol around that area, pulling over middle class and poor class people, and when I go more when I go more towards Mansfield and everything, there's less cops. I feel
I know it.
like there's not as many cops around pulling people over for stupid stuff and little things and giving them tickets,
Like messing with them at the park.
Yeah, because
out.
you give them that first ticket and then it starts the cycle. A lot of those.
And guess what? The fines and fees is. Who's in charge of the court system for fines and fees is it's the Federal Reserve. So you need to also look at the Federal Reserve, because they are the main culprit. They house the eagle,
That's a bank.
which is
It's
the dollar, which is
yeah.
just bankers.
Yeah.
You're right. It's only bankers.
just a
It's
big
not the
bank.
federal government.
Getting black people trapped up in this system.
And using these organizations like the Citizens, what is it? The Citizens something, Citizens United.
That Citizen Patrol?
No, Citizens United. It's a big
okay.
major white group that has been in power for a long time. They're corporations, they're corporation owners, CEOs, and they have this Citizens United. And they basically tell the lawmaker, this is what you're going to do. They don't care about you. All they care about is your labor.
And so, you got
them,
the
not
hat, Black Lives Matter and everything. I got to ask, because I was seeing some stuff recently about some of the board members or some of the people behind the Black Lives Matter organization have been dipping into the honey pot, spending funds on other
Houses,
things. Yeah, cars, boats, and all that. So
they learned it from the big guy.
What's your take on that?
They learned it from the big man.
Because I've noticed a lot of people use that to discredit the whole theme of the message.
You're so amazing.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, Black Lives Matter. Well, it's ran by a Mexican lady, or the people that run Black Lives Matter, they're not even black, and they're spending the money on this and that. So how do Black Lives, a lot of people that aren't black, use that as a justification?
That's just so wonderful, man. I am so thankful that he has turned me into the person, he has taken part in turning me into the person that I am today. But that's Black Lives Matter is very touchy, especially in the South Dallas and any community that has black people. And so people are using Black Lives Matter still today. Like I said, slavery is still alive. So these organizations, it's still nothing different than you have the head Negro in charge mentality. And that's the problem in politics. And then, of course, the Bible and some other things and religion, those are some problems in politics on why people do not like y'all, because of crooks, and plus you're withholding the money. You know what I'm saying? You give crumbs. Look in the South Dallas last night. I just happened to be driving through. I was at Parkland, South Dallas, helping a 65-year-old senior, bringing him some food, sitting with him. We left in the night, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure he was there. Hey, by the way, shout out to CEO Dr. Fred Cerise, CEO of Parkland Hospital. I love you so much. I have his phone number. I'm a former employee. I worked in supply diversity, helping Black, Hispanic, Native American, whatever you were, as long as you're certified through the NCTRCA, I'm going to help you do business in construction, in goods and services, in consulting services, and in legal services. Okay, all of those make up Parkland's contracting, and it's a beast. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I know
you were part of that, whole wheelhouse.
Well, what I did was I stood up for myself and made sure every time I saw Dr. Cerise when I worked there, hey, Dr. Cerise, this is Shenita. You remember Shenita Cleveland? And when I called him yesterday, because they were giving me a hard time, so I'm thankful to have gone into the ER to see how they were treating them at Parkland, as bad as they're treating them in Lou Sterrett in Parkland, okay? So you have clinics in Parkland.
I've heard some horror stories about Parkland.
Yeah. So this Hispanic guy was holding his side. He was dying. I'm like, and after a few minutes, I'm like, excuse me, do you not see? And then the cop comes up and says, hey, we got it. No, handle it. Man. Okay, because he looks like
cops,
he's about to die.
I've seen way too many videos like that. They'll shoot somebody or arrive on a shooting scene, and they'll handcuff the person as they're bleeding out on the street right there, not rendering aid. Like, isn't that a crime? Like failure to render aid.
But guess what? Going back to that division you talked about, people
Yeah.
think that they're better than others, unfortunately, because their heart is not right. So yesterday, to finish that story about the senior, so I finally made it to the place where I need to be. And we just built Parkland, okay? That thing is not
Yeah.
old, okay? And that is not where JFK went. And so we just did that. In fact, I was a part of the last quarter of it. So I help
Wow.
people do business at that new hospital.
Okay.
Thank God. And so, but anyway, which is another long story. But anyway, so going back to I'm kind of losing my train of thought, so I do that sometimes. But going back to what happened,
It was the man he
so
was
the
bleeding.
police, the Dallas County Police, came up to me because I started to get loud. Why, if I'm on the list 30, 40 minutes ago? But he didn't end up putting me on. But still, he's on the 7th floor. I'm on the 1st floor in Parkland. And you tell me
Yeah.
I gotta wait 15 minutes or so for it to come down to populate. When emails populate, then send an email.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can get up to our people and make sure that
Yeah.
they are being taken care of. So the cops was being smart. Well, how can we help you? Well, if you can't get me to room 616, please get out of my face and don't say anything to me. Oh, well, how can we help you? I said, I'm about to call your boss. Oh, well, he's not here, so how can we help you? I said,
Yeah.
all right. Dr. Cerise, he answered. I said, this is Shenita Cleveland. I have a problem at your hospital. Can you please send somebody, or we're going to have some
Yeah.
problems. All I want to do is go see my friend from South Dallas. He's a senior. His roof fell in, even though he went to the city council multiple times to say, can you help me with my roof? It finally fell in. But thank God he had a hernia. So sad that he had to have a hernia to even be into Parkland. I said, Dr. Cerise, I don't want to be here. I said, I'll be right there. In 2 minutes, so he's very close to the main hospital. I'm not for sure what floor he's on, but oh yes, and it is the corporate office, the CEO
Yeah.
office is in there.
Yeah.
And so he came down, and as soon as he came down, the police backed up. No. I said, no, he's here now. Now, what were you saying? And so within 1 minute, he took care of Dr. Fred
Yeah.
Cerise,
You called they boss man.
who actually has adopted multiple different nationalities of children. He takes care of a lot of kids, and he loves them. And he is one of the best CEOs. That's why he's there. And he believes that every person
Is it a
should
white
be
guy?
insured. Yes, he is, with brown hair. He looks real cool.
All right, that's cool. Because that was another, topic I've had with other people before. Because I've seen different stories and incidences when, like, non-black people adopt black kids and do bad things.
Like CPS,
So yeah, I've heard that.
foster care system,
Oh yeah,
treating, raping, murdering, beating, starving,
Yes.
lying to, beating down, and they claim to be the one that just leads me to the city of
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Their rules are back when the KKK got started in the 1800s here in Dallas.
Yeah.
1900s in Dallas.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
And I've heard some horror stories about the CPS system, like a lot of situations and accidents, or I wouldn't call them accidents, but a lot of horrific things have happened due to
government.
unanswered calls, unanswered pleas.
Oh, I work with Smash, so I've interviewed a couple CPS cases. In fact, they're working on a protest right now, so people
Wow.
are going to be coming to you soon. I know a young lady, and we haven't interviewed her yet, but I told her
Yes.
that I will. But they still haven't given her son back.
It's gonna be a protest,
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'll let you know.
Okay,
in the
nice.
loop.
That's awesome.
Get to the point.
All right, for sure. And speaking of protests, you, Miss Shenita Cleveland, are a part of what they call the Dallas 10.
Yes, that's right. We made that up on the sidewalk when they treated us like animals.
Yeah, what was all that about? Because
George Floyd, justice against anti-police brutality. Let us
Yes.
get a national registry. Let us register teachers. Let us register police. Let us register anyone in charge of our children and our future, so that we know what's happening in their personnel files. Okay,
Yes.
we can wait for that, but we definitely got to start with the police.
Okay, yeah. So it was the Dallas 10, and then there was a Dallas 9.
That's right.
And so, but the Dallas 10, the incident, it
George
was
Floyd.
the protest for George Floyd.
Sunday, not the bridge. Sunday, the first night of the
Okay.
curfew.
As I was just gonna ask, because I remember seeing it on the news, the bridge.
But I did speak. Actually, I was just getting out of Lou Sterrett. I was one of the first to roll out, and they were getting smart with me. And I called her name, the sheriff officer, because they were taunting us, and it was black people. It was my people. It wasn't even the white people, but the white people did do some, mean stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for the most part, there were some nice people. There were some people that I said, "Wait till I get out of here. You wait till I get out of here." Then they started to be nice. But there were some that
They
did
were
not
saying
be
that to
nice.
you?
They were saying, "We can't breathe. We can't breathe." They were taunting us.
Dang.
And they treated us bad at the Parkland
After
Parkland
shooting
clinic.
at y'all, right? Like,
Let me tell you,
guns.
y'all, I wish I had stayed live, but when I got shot in the toe, by that time I was already hit 3 times. My toe, which is permanently, which I do have a federal lawsuit, it has been filed. We did beat the statute of limitation. Thank you, Lord. You know, so I am standing up to police brutality. I am going to the federal government because I'm one of the few that went through the whole local level process and they couldn't find nothing, y'all, with all that video footage, even DPS coming up and engaging, talking to us, twirling a canister when they should have stood off. Only DPD. That was the plan, but they are out there doing all kinds of stuff. That's why Chief Hall didn't know what they was doing.
That's
they was
taunting
changing
as
stuff.
well, yo. Like police walking out there twirling.
Yeah, absolutely. So then they came out of the tanks. They had freaking tanks on us, but look at those white people. Look how long it even took them. They said we're coming there. They left the rally, said I'm coming there. Had to freaking walk and still made it inside. Something is a lie. Okay, something's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, come on. I can't even hardly get past none of that.
Yeah.
So how the hell did they make it inside if it's not an agenda?
Yeah.
People need to wake up.
And you're speaking of, the
Just
Capitol
period.
riot.
Yeah, Capitol, but period. Even like now, if you look, you were about to ask me about the mass shootings. I know that is dear to your heart because it's our children that are being sacrificed by the United States government. Okay, technically, this is their fault. They are the ones that created the laws to divide us and separate us and not lend to us and put us in the field to pick cotton and corn.
So you're not like one of the the people in the debate who are saying it's like a gun rights issue.
Yeah. It is too. That's what it boils
so?
down to. That's what it's going to boil down to.
Because I always feel
what
like
rights do you have with the guns? What's about to happen?
The gun laws are funny, but I still feel like bad people are going to do bad things.
Regardless, because we have an underworld. I mean, we have a black market. Come on. We have a digital realm that the FBI, there's certain people that are the smartest people in the world and they know the digital world and they can take everything from you. There's no privacy. Where's the privacy? Everything. Where cameras are everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no more privacy.
You're right. And to kind of, switch tones a little bit, go to a lighter note, since we're talking about privacy and everything, I feel like we're not giving these celebrities enough privacy on things that shouldn't really matter. And I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing that up right here on Straightforward Strip on GFN Radio. Brought to you by Mighty Media TV. A lot of talk about the Michael B. Jordan, Lori Harvey.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar, Michael B. Jordan has been dating Steve Harvey's daughter, and I guess they were relationship goals for a certain amount of time. They said Michael B. Jordan was the greatest, boyfriend. He was supplying roses, gifts, romanticizing her, doing all this that a woman asked for.
But that shows that he was trying, so obviously something stopped him from doing it that was receptive. Like he was getting something else back. Maybe that he just didn't like. Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day.
So you're saying like something stopped happening, or you said something stopped
for him to his attention to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear about the attention going somewhere else.
Well, I'm saying if they're breaking up, then attention goes somewhere else. So I'm just saying, like, what happened? Yeah. Because if he was doing all of that, something happened for it to stop.
Like he was doing all this to lead to marriage, and she turned down the marriage proposal.
Well, then he goes on in God's will, and he keeps going to find the one that is for him, and it's just that simple. And then we need to get back to why these kids are dying. Yeah. And getting shot up.
Let's get back to it. Straightforward Strip with Miss Shenita Cleveland right here on GFN Radio, Mighty Media TV, yo. So, gun rights, you said, is part of the issue, but then you said something bigger than that.
Keep your guns. They want to take your guns. Keep them. Do not give them. Why would you trust someone that has proven to you, like, for freaking the eternity since the whole system was created, that it's a bad tree, it's not for you? If it's for you, we've been in this system for how long? Since the 13 colonies? All right, then. And the money still has the 13 colonies on it, so we need a new system, new monetary system.
New monetary system?
Yeah, if you look at the back, there are symbols. If you see this necklace, I actually found this in the Big T Bazaar. There's a crystal lady that is in there. It's so amazing. She has these oils from the earth that attract wealth and prosperity.
It's the pyramid with the eye on top.
Yeah, it's the back of it. It means, may God favor our endeavors, our undertakings. That's what that means. It's Latin. And then on the other side is the eagle. The branches that are in there, it equals to 13. The stars are 13. Okay, it stands for the 13 colonies. So we're still technically under the 13 colonies. Just
Yeah.
the FYI, slavery is still here. Check in, wake up, get straight to the point.
Oh yeah. That's definitely been one of my stances as well. As far as slavery, I feel like slavery wasn't abolished.
The grandkids are here.
It evolved.
The great grandkids, the grandkids are here. The children are here,
Exactly.
living
Yeah.
with the attitude.
Yeah, and then like it's crazy because I see videos of like the little white boy who was banging the whip on the door.
Yes, I covered that story.
Man, that's wild, yo. So
I got something to say on that. Straight
go
to the
for
point.
it.
Well, yeah, I was there and I was able to hear a lot of the story straight from the parents and and it just kind of transpired. His wife did leave him. You can tell he's abusive. He's a bully. You can tell he was a bully. He hates his life. He hates himself. He actually hates his kids.
You're talking about the dad
The
who
white
like
dad.
discharged the firearm.
Yes, the
Yeah.
white dad. He hates everything, even his kids. Because when the firearm discharged, even though he had the firearm, he should have never even took it from behind his back and out of the house. He closed the door. Don't come out there. And there were kids playing across the street. And he takes the gun out, which is stupid. He got arrested. That was right. And he puts the gun down, picks it up, and boom, it goes off. And turns around and yells at the daughter. Points his finger. It's your fault. So imagine what those kids are dealing with. CPS needs to go there and get those kids before someone dies.
Yeah.
All right, if you're going to pick up kids, go pick those up.
I feel that for sure.
Ones that are being abused. It doesn't matter what color. Stop dividing us. Because technically you all come from black people.
Oh yeah.
We have the atom. That's why we can live in the desert and they can't. They turn red and about to burn from the inside. And we've got beautiful skin.
These ain't white people.
Listen,
come
y'all,
from black
again,
people.
I'm 50 this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 50. I'm 50.
Tell them.
Tell them. Thank you, Lord.
I feel you.
And
So
I'm about to get some new teeth. Dr. Rose, I'm going tomorrow. Actually, I go to eviction court. And whose court? Mike Jones. Whose court? Mike Jones. Mike Jones. And also Constable Ed Wright. Office served me. So I'm so thankful to grace the stage called COVID-19 Evictions. I thank the Lord for leading me to a book signing that also led me to a 13-year eviction specialist for the state of Texas, who is now working with the presumptive Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who we do support and help because she is definitely the blackest of the two. Faux show.
yeah.
And so she's going to bring some real change. But, we just want to make sure that we're electing people who are not going to allow mass shootings to be happening and allow an agenda, if you know the top secret information, to go on because you're getting paid from the military. I mean, you're getting paid to, they're getting all kinds of stuff, laptops, $1 million budget, when we're freaking got $5 on pump 10.
And especially, a black
Gas
candidate
prices are
that
high.
a black candidate that won't be bought by, big organizations.
There's a lot of them bought.
and
Sorry, Dallas,
corporations.
Texas. There's a lot of bought ones. You're right. You're so right. Some of them are. Some of them love them. Love what they do. They have, God has sent them in there, and we have to recognize the light when we see it,
Yeah.
so that they can help you and we can help each other. Because I need help. And actually, for the eviction, shout out to the FIA Center, the Women's Center, who is now going to be paying my rent all 3 months. And so I will connect you. Reach out the Strip. Let me know. I got some information to help you win evictions. But if you've already gone to court, I can't help you. But for anyone facing eviction, you get with Strip, straightforward. He's going to contact me, and I'm going to get your information, and I'm going to call you, and I'm going to teach you how to beat these slumlords.
I dig it.
And you better keep it in the underground, because if I see it up top, then you're going to ruin it for everybody.
Oh yeah, that's Miss Shenita Cleveland right here on Straightforward with Strip on GFN Radio and Mighty Media TV. So the mass shootings, you've been touching on that subject, and I feel the passion, but I've seen things online and social media. It's like a cycle. It's mass shooting. People have this fake online outrage, and then it's
like an
back
agenda. It's
to
called an
anything
agenda.
else. Yeah. So what do you think would be, I'm sure there's multiple answers, but what do you think is one of the main things to counter this?
To
Because
put
they're shooting
people,
up hospitals, schools, festivals. Like, what is the answer to end the mass shootings?
you have to send them to prison for a very long time, forever.
Yeah.
You have to come and get them. And also, you have to teach your community not to take nothing. So if there is a mass shooting, because you can't control everything, it's God's will. So if you are one of those who have experienced, one, you stand up for the legacy. You stand up for those that have lost their lives. You make a difference in your own communities, and then you take that model to other communities And everybody does that, and we all going on different paths, like Oprah Winfrey say, to one spot, to destiny. Okay, where there's going to be peace on earth. And I believe that we can do it in this decade. And I believe that the Lord, the Creator, has put the answer in me for world peace. And if y'all like me president one day, I'm gonna tell you.
Shenita Cleveland for president.
For prayers, I'll do more than Trump or Joe.
Man, I like it. I like it. So, and you weren't falling. So from jump, you weren't falling for this Joe Biden, Kamala Harris
I voted
thing.
for them.
Yeah.
I put my vote in. It's on the record. Yeah. The Democratic Party, who I'm very disappointed in.
One of my things is I don't like being. I think the word is pandered. I hate being pandered to. Like, and Joe Biden is one of those. Look what I did, black people. Look what I did for you, black people.
What?
Like a lot of these corporations.
The Harriet Tubman, the $20 bill, the National Negro Anthem, Jim Clyburn. Are you serious? Is that as a whip? You're the most important person, and all you can think of was the National Negro Anthem? I can think of reparations. Give us that check, like MLK said before he was murdered.
Yeah. And there was a situation. It was a district out there in California. One of the mayors, like he was a black mayor, and he set up a system to where like
oh yes, I saw that
black residents were getting reparations.
But we need it from the big one. We need it from the federal, state, and local governments.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
All
sure.
three.
So because I feel like a lot of our money is going places that like it can continue going, but we can scale it back some and reroute it to some more useful things. But it's all a cycle,
right? No, he's strip for president.
You feel me?
He's gonna be my vice president.
Yeah, heck yeah, for sure.
And we're gonna have a real cookout, and them jokers is not voted, not invited.
Man, for real, that's what I'm saying.
We're gonna have somebody at the door. You can't get in.
We invite people way too easily, yo. Come on, black people, yo. So keeping it straightforward right here on Straightforward with Strip, GFN Radio, Mighty Media TV, with Shenita Cleveland right now. Yeah, I don't want to keep
No.
circling back to this.
Let's go with the
but
flow.
It's something I wanted to bring up while we're talking about the shootings and everything, because some stories have came out and I thought it was outrageous. But while the most recent school shooting was at Uvalde, while that was going on, there were parents outside the school trying to go save their children, and some of them ended up getting arrested. So instead of the cops going in there to stop kids from getting killed and stop this mass shooter before he did the damage he did, they were outside arresting parents.
Yes, I know why.
Why is that?
Because they're Hispanic and poor.
Okay, man. Well, I thought you were gonna elaborate a little bit, but
that's it. That's straightforward to the point.
It's outlandish, yo. Like the police aren't going in there to stop the mass shooter, so parents are running in there trying to save their kids because the police department isn't doing anything, and
maybe
instead
because
of
they
them
want more
helping,
victims.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, what else? What other reason?
Oh yeah.
What you waiting for? Aren't you here to protect and serve?
And,
Go do it.
One of the theories, I don't even want to call them conspiracy theories anymore, because a lot of them are seeming to be true.
That's right.
And factual. But they said one of the victims in the shootings was making a car that ran on water.
I mean, I don't think that even deserves an answer. I mean, come on, y'all.
No, so that's
wake
not
up,
plausible.
Wake up.
You don't think that's like a plausible thing on why that happened? Because a lot of people are saying,
I think
that was the motive.
If it is, absolutely, I could believe it. Anything in this earth, I can believe it. But it's stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Just like, there was somebody, it was another doctor. He found a cure to something, and then he ended up being murdered.
Dr. Sebi, I'm actually going to Honduras.
And Dr. Sebi.
And the community is going to send me there. And I'm going to go get healing so that I can help these things that you're speaking of. Because you're so right. He's not said anything that is wrong, y'all. Y'all better listen to him.
Wow. Okay. So you said you're being brought out by Dr. Sebi's people?
No. I'm going out there. I'm going to travel for a week to stay in Honduras, in Usha village. Nice. I actually have, there's a gentleman, his name is Keith Mitchell. He is a former Saints player. I met him when he was a Saint back in the late 90s, like 98, 99. I was out of Grambling State University. My first job out of college led me here. So I met Keith, and so we connected. I went to New Orleans, and then we reconnected. We lost contact, and we reconnected, and I introduced him to my then yoga trainer, who I actually worked out with the other day. And now Keith is a master yogi, so Shenita has a Midas touch. So I'm going to touch Strip so he can go all across the nation, even bigger, do whatever he wants to do for God's sake
and
for
that
the people's
energy.
sake. Yeah, that's right. No, you're number one. And so we thank you. I thank you for the invite because there is a lot of work to do, out here. But I just believe that, I think at the end of the day, if you just get straight to the point, the government is the problem and our own hearts is the problem.
Yeah. Okay. And
Because the laws, we have to follow laws every day. Even how we're in this building is an ordinance. It's the law.
All right. Well, as far as doing something in the community and everything, and you are about that action, as we've
About
seen.
that life.
What about you, as far as candidacy?
Absolutely.
Candidacy.
Look at the Lord working. Thank you, Strip.
Yeah.
So yes, initially I was contemplating. Someone started a rumor. Y'all know that I was a candidate for District 30 in 2020. I was trying to be a candidate there, but the Lord said no. And I see now why. I must help Jasmine Crockett to be your presumptive congresswoman in District 30. And then I must go to District 7 so that we can take it back. And I wasn't going to run, but they've started a rumor that I was on cocaine. That it must be drugs, but it's the Lord. And it's just called next level action. I'm next level. I believe in Harriet Tubman. I believe in Angela Davis. I believe in these trailblazers who paved the way and protected their people. I was at that party. Remember, because you got the anniversary coming up of those officers that were killed. And we had a party with that group you talked about with Mr. Devontae D. Peters.
Yeah.
And from that Dallas
Shout
9.
out to Brother Shout right there, man. Alkaline Hour. Yeah.
And which we need alkalinity. That's why I say I'm going to Honduras, because he is the master. He beat the federal government because he was telling the people that he had all the answers to the cure for every single disease.
Yeah.
Like cancer.
AIDS.
And no lie, I watched the video. You can Google it. Cancer video when black and white TV existed. When the TV used to go off at 12 midnight and there was you had to turn it off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? During that time, they had black and white TV and they were finding the cure for cancer, but they have figured out the vaccine. I'm just trying to figure out how is that possible. Now, listen, I'm about safety. So whatever makes you safe, you do it. But I do not believe we should be forced to do anything that the government says that it is our servant, but it's not acting like that, and we need to change it.
Right. For sure. Okay. Man, Miss Shenita Cleveland, you are a powerful person.
You are
powerful
too.
icon. I appreciate you coming out to the show, yo.
I wouldn't miss it. I'm coming back too. I'm probably gonna be a regular. You're gonna have to call me back on a day. Can we just gonna chop it up?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Keep you updated on what's happening out in the streets.
Oh yeah, there's for sure a few other things that we didn't get to mention and talk on. But before we get out of here, I did want to get your take on it, since it's around the corner, which is Juneteenth. Yeah.
I know it's coming.
And like I was saying earlier about, being pandered to. All these companies coming out with Juneteenth stuff and just being real corny and disrespectful with it.
Like Triple D, the Reunion Tower, like the city of Dallas, like SMU that has stolen the Triple D logo, and then has cease and desisted South Oak Cliff High School and the Hispanic school. The city of Dallas ceased and desisted when they stole it, and then the black man, T.C. Broadnax, who I'm going to be meeting with, thank you, T.C., for allowing me to come in, gave it to SMU. So if you notice the Triple D, that is this logo here that I have on, it's the Mexican Arturo Sanchez, the Thee, the Sanchez, the Arturo Sanchez, who is the founder of the 12 prototypes of the patents to this. But the city of Dallas says it didn't steal it, but I've asked them to provide me the person that had the vision for their Triple D logo with the leaf in it. They just took the tilted star, put the flower as the leaf, as in SMU, who has taken the leaf off and put the red Mustang. And so we're living on stolen land still here in Dallas, and we still have it to where the government is taking from the little Mexican, from the little black person, and they're giving it to the big white guy. And so that is a major problem, just like Fuel City. I was protesting there because unfortunately, I don't know if you're Hispanic or not. You look mixed, but you are black too, so I love you.
My father is black. Yeah,
that's
my
amazing.
mother
You
was
look great.
Hispanic.
You look great.
I appreciate
And listen,
that.
it's not about division. It just happens to be that is the category that did it. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to make sure that we're not taking from the little guy still today. And but so going back to Juneteenth, taking from the little guy. Juneteenth, freedom.
Yeah.
After all of them, Abraham Lincoln did not free the slaves,
The
y'all. Let's stop
Juneteenth
it.
party napkins and party plates and the Juneteenth ice cream.
Making money off of black people still today. I mean,
Yeah,
I
man.
keep saying slavery's alive.
For sure. Miss Shenita Cleveland, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Oh, shout out to Ms. Opal Lee. I do sit in the committee. I've connected some
Nice.
corporations. Thank you, Miss Dion. Shout out to her granddaughter. Also, shout out to Juneteenth in Joppy. It is 50 years. Hopefully, straightforward by Strip goes to Joppy.
Hey.
Joppy
straightforward
Smash the
Strip and
Topic is going to
Joppy.
be there. Smash going to be there. We
Okay.
want Strip. I'm going to come through. I got to go to Fort Worth and Elm Thicket out in North Park, the Freedman's Town. They've asked me to come. And then also going to Indian Joppy for the big party.
I dig it, yo. Hey, stay tuned and keep it right here. Keep it locked right here on GFN Radio, Mighty Media TV. It's your man, Young Strip, and this is Straightforward with Strip. Miss Shenita Cleveland, I appreciate you. We're going to have to do it again, yo.
Yes, for sure. I wouldn't miss it.
Heck yeah.
Forever and ever and ever.